Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Football Overseas YouTube channel. And here we are once again with another round of English Championship predictions. It's one of the middle of one of those 7-day periods when they have all teams have 3 games to play, 3 fixtures to play in 7 days. So it's a real busy period for all the teams. They all have a full program. And it's another midweek programme we're looking at now on Tuesday the 26th and Wednesday the 27th of November. As I say, a full house of matches to look forward to. We'll have a brief look back at the weekend. Leeds United now top the table, having just leapfrogged Sunderland on goal difference, following their extraordinary, but a very late and a very entertaining 4-3 win down at Swansea. Sunderland went back into draw mode, picked up a point, and they are closely followed again on 32 points by Sheffield United. We'll look into their matches a little bit more, review and preview their matches a little bit more as we go along. And Burnley tagging along nicely as well on 30 points. So just 2 points now separating the top 4. Exactly how, as neutrals anyway, like that league. If your team's not involved, it's great how it pans out like this, almost year on year. We had 3 brilliant teams last year. We've got 4 in the mix, generally at the moment, with some more. I'm sure we'll have an eye on getting up into that top 4-3 bracket. And then at the bottom, QPR picked up a point, but it wasn't enough to get them off the bottom of the table, unfortunately. A 1-1 draw against Stoke at home. Portsmouth stay where they are because unfortunately they had a wasted trip up to Blackburn Friday night on into Saturday. And their fans all travelled, most of them did, I'm sure, on Saturday before it was called off at 11 a.m, which I think was a bit late because of the reason and all the weather was known and all of that. So I think things could have been done a bit better there. With 2,000 fans travelling and really a waterlogged pitch, and it was an easy decision apparently for the officials to make. So, but that's all history now, unfortunately for them. They've got to redo that match, replay that match on a midweek trek to the north west. So that was that. So that's the bottom. Hull have slipped into the bottom 3. Or retained in the bottom 2. I can't remember if they were there already, but they're hovering far too close to the relegation zone for anyone's liking at Hull, and we'll have a chat about their match when we get to it. So there we are. That's the way the table is done. Everybody else is jostling for those positions, as they do in the middle section of the league. So we start then with Tuesday night's fixtures. First up is Burnley against Coventry City, and Burnley are doing what they have to do. No frills, no spills, but their defence is phenomenal. Just 6 goals conceded. And we think the Championship is a tough old league. To only have conceded 6 goals after 16 matches is quite incredible. And again, it was a shutout down at Bristol City that gave them the 3 points on Saturday by taking the match by 1-0, which is sort of their mantra at the moment. 1-0 to the Burnley is certainly the chant at the moment in the Championship, but it's doing them very nicely, thank you. And they're only 2 points behind, as I say, those 3 teams at the top. So they're in the mix for sure. And they're home to Coventry City, who we know have changed their manager. They got rid of Mark Robbins last week. They're still looking at a coach to recruit into that position. I've heard Frank Lampard's name quite loudly mentioned in some quarters, and even Ruben Nistelrooy. I think it would be maybe a good one for him to think about if he was given the chance. But who knows what's in the thinking? We don't really know. But as I say, Frank Lampard's probably been the loudest name, or the loudest shout for a name that I've heard. So we wait and see on that. They picked up a very commendable 2-2 draw against Sheffield United. Very difficult to get points off Sheffield United. And Coventry came back and got a fairly late equaliser to pick up that point. So what will happen on Tuesday against Burnley? I think it'll be Burnley returning to type, or staying with type, in as much that I'm going to take them to win 1-0. I know that's pretty dull of me to do that maybe, but I just see it that way. I think Burnley are not going to change what works for them at the moment. Why should they? I'm sure their fans will want to be a bit more expansive, a bit more entertaining when they go along to watch, but they are getting results. They've got points on the board, and they're up in the business end of the table. So there we go. I'm going to say Burnley 1, Coventry 0. Brings us on to match 2, on Tuesday, which is Hull City against Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday picked up a decent point, albeit at home, so they'll probably see it's 2 points dropped maybe, but they keep adding points to their total. They're up into 15th, and a bit of breathing space now between them and the bottom three. So they'll be happy with life fairly happy with life at the moment. Hull City won't be happy with life. As I say, they're nosediving at the moment from where they finished last year, just a tick away from the playoffs. They then removed the manager for footballing reasons. They wanted to go a different method, different style. Well, be careful what you wish for in these situations, because here are now Hull changing their sort of momentum with their coaching staff, and they're finding themselves in the bottom three. So the players somehow aren't quite buying into it yet. I haven't seen much of Hull's games to make any real comment, I must admit. But I think they've only had one home win, but I don't think they'll add to that against a Sheffield United side and a local derby as well, a Yorkshire derby anyway, that they will want to put a good show on. So I'm going to take a draw. Hull City 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1. And that brings us on to Norwich City against Plymouth Argyle. Now, Plymouth Argyle did the late show again. They have the Friday night show called that at the moment, the way they do things at Home Park. Plymouth and Watford it was on Friday night. I watched quite a bit of it. Very entertaining. I have to say, their games are at home. But Watford were, I think, just about the better side, certainly in the first half. It should have been away and gone, but they weren't. I think they were just 2-1 up, or I can't remember. I think they might have been 2-1 up at the time, half time. Plymouth sort of puffed their chests out a bit in the second half, but it wasn't until the very last kick of the match that Andre Gray curled one in from the edge of the penalty box, and sent the Home Park faithful home very happy once again, and Wayne Rooney as well. So that was a 2-each draw. But I think their away woes will continue to follow them to Norwich on Tuesday. I think Norwich had a decent draw at West Bromwich Albion, 2 each. I think they'll score some goals against Plymouth. Plymouth are a little bit fragile away, and Norwich are very good generally. And after their last home game was ended in defeat, the first one in 21 games, they want to start another run. So I'm going to take Norwich to win this one by 3-1. Norwich 3, Plymouth 1. Next up, we have Sheffield United against Oxford. Now, Oxford had a rather incredible 6-2 home defeat after taking the lead against Middlesbrough. But Middlesbrough really are on song at the moment, scoring plenty of goals, letting a few in as well. But if you can score 4, 5 or 6, as they've been doing, then that won't matter too much. So, yes, Middlesbrough, 5 in the last game against Luton, as I recall, 4 recently, I think it was at QPR. They said they scored 4 away from home, so they're really up in the tennis scores at the moment with their goals. So Oxford fell foul of Middlesbrough, and I think they're going to fall foul of Sheffield United. Sheffield United, as I say, had that 2-each draw at Coventry. They want to right that by getting 3 points against the Oxford side that were given a bit of a championship lesson on Saturday, and it's a tough one to go and try and recover your poise a little bit away at Sheffield United. Sheffield United 3, Oxford United 0, I think will be the outcome there. Then we have Stoke City against Preston North End on Tuesday night. And Stoke City had a decent point down at QPR. They're picking up points. Their home form has taken a little bit of an uptick, generally speaking. They had that 6-1 against Portsmouth, which was completely out of the ordinary, of course. But they've picked up points pretty regularly since. Just the one loss in the last 6. So life not too bad at the moment, if you're a Stoke fan, maybe. Preston, again, looking over their shoulders a bit, just 1 point off the relegation zone. It's been a bit of a tough old season so far for Preston, but they picked up a point at home to Derby on Saturday, but I think they'll just lose out and they'll goal in 3 here. So I'm going to take Stoke to win this one. Stoke City 2, Preston North End 1. Next we have Watford against Bristol City, and Watford home record is incredible. I think they only had 6 home wins all of last season, and they've already had 6 wins this season. So the home form is what's giving them their points. they have picked up some points away, as we know, as well. So they're in 7th place, 26 points, just outside the playoff section on goal difference. Bristol City, sort of floating a little bit mid-table, lost 2 of their last 3. Admittedly, that was to Sheffield United and Burnley, so no real disgrace there, but it was 2 home games. And you never like to lose 2 home games on the trot, whoever it's against, in the same division as you. So there was a couple of bumps, but in between that, they go and win away at Norwich, who haven't been beaten over 20-odd games. So what are Bristol City going to do? I think Watford will be just too strong for them on the night. Their home record is going to carry them through, I think. And Watford will edge it again, the odd goal in 3, Watford 2, Bristol City 1. So the final game on Tuesday is the 8 o'clock kick-off, which is between Sunderland and West Bromwich Albion. So the draw specialists, so you won't be surprised to know what I've gone for, but West Bromwich Albion have drawn 5 out of 6, and Sunderland have drawn their last 4. So you can't see much sort of wavering from that, I don't think. And both, you won't be surprised to know, both had draws at the weekend. Sunderland away at Millwall, having been in front, so they'll be slightly disappointed with that. And as will West Brom, who are also in front, and ended up being pulled back to 2-2. So I think it'll be a cracking match, a cracking atmosphere at least, under the lights at Sunderland. Full house, no doubt, on Tuesday night. And I'm going to take a 1-1 draw there for the draw specialists of the division at the moment. And that takes us into Wednesday night, where we've got 5 games to look at. First up is Cardiff City against Queen's Park Rangers. And Cardiff, as I say, home form, it's not doing too bad, but they're still, they had such a slow start to the season, and then they had a bit of an uptick, and then they had 2 losses, which has put them back a little bit in the league placings. They're just 1 place above, they're literally just above the relegation line at the moment. They did have a decent away point at Sheffield Wednesday, so they added to their points total at least, which cut them out the bottom 3, or took them out the bottom 3. And QPR, as I say, had that 1 each draw against Stoke, but QPR really just the 1 win now in 16. It's looking a bit bleak for them at the moment. Obviously, they can't do anything much to their squad till January, and then it becomes a bit difficult to what you can attract if you're bottom of any league in the January window. But we shall see how all that unfolds. But for now, I think Cardiff will get back to winning ways at home, and they will take this game by 2-0. Cardiff 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Takes us on to Leeds, who had that very entertaining, incredible 4-3 victory down at Swansea on Sunday afternoon. So that woke a few people up after a Sunday lunch. So that was the 7-goal thriller of the weekend. And Luton scraped a home win against Hull. So it was probably more get the job done than anything else for Luton, who have really been in the doldrums after that 5-1 loss against Middlesbrough recently. So it was Leeds United. So yes, Luton against Hull. Luton getting back to winning ways, or getting points on the board was the main thing for them. Leeds had a brilliant win down at Swansea, and I think they will add to their points total with the full 3 points at home to Luton. I'm going to go for Leeds United 3, Luton Town 1. 3 to go then, and free scoring Middlesbrough up next, and they will be playing Blackburn Rovers. Now, Blackburn Rovers didn't have a game on Saturday, so they've had a few extra days rest, or they may not see it that way. Perhaps they were itching to get out and play after the international break. So it's Middlesbrough home to Blackburn Rovers. Blackburn, I don't think, will concede too many goals, because that's not their way, generally speaking. But I think Middlesbrough, on the back of what they've done recently, are really, they're really looking good now. They've moved into 5th place, 27 points, 29 goals scored, and that is just by 1 goal over Leeds. So they're the top scorers in the division now. So they're finding their feet for sure. And I'm going to take them to beat Blackburn. But again, only narrowly. Middlesbrough 2, Blackburn 1. 2 to go, and the first of those is Portsmouth against Millwall under the lights at Fratton Park. This will be a lively affair, no doubt. No love lost between these two sides. Not far for the Millwall fans to come, just 50, 60 miles down the track, as you might say. So it should be a great match, a great atmosphere. The usual Fratton Park faithful will be venting their frustration for those, definitely for those who went to trekked up to Blackburn at the weekend for no reason, for a postponement. So they've had an extra few days off as well, so we'll see how that affects them, positively or what. Millwall, as I say, came back against Sunderland to grab a point, which they'll be pleased with. Millwall just hanging in there, unbeaten in 6. Couple of draws in the last 2 matches. Prior to that, 4 wins. So they'll go to Fratton Park, even though the Fratton atmosphere will be daunting for them. They will stand tall, I think, and they will come away with a 2-each draw. I think there'll be goals around down there on Tuesday. I'm going to go Portsmouth 2, Millwall 2. And last but never least is the final match of the week, midweek, Derby County against Swansea City. Swansea will be disappointed about their match, their ending of their match against Leeds. They got back into it 3-3, and then Leeds just went down the pitch and got the winner 4-3. So Swansea will be disappointed to have lost that at the very last outcome there. And Derby had a decent away point at Preston North End, still picking up their points. Sitting in 11th place, they'd take that, I think, at the end of the season, so they're quite happy with life at the moment. Only the 1 loss in the last 6, but they have had 4 draws in that time. So there's been a lot of draws lately in the division. So it's not much great deal of movement in those middle placings, really. If you get a win at the moment, if you get 3 wins this week, incredible. We shall see, but only we shall see. There's not many teams who had a win on Saturday, just 4 or 5. I think 5 teams, or 4 teams in fact, because Portsmouth didn't play. That win was in the previous match. So draws have been the order of the day in the Championship. So we hope there's not too many more on this Tuesday, Wednesday. But I'm going to take one here. I'm going to give Derby County 1, Swansea 1 as the outcome on Tuesday night. So I've given a few draws myself, but hopefully there'll be some entertainment as always. So that's it. There we are. There we have it. It's match number 2 of this 3-week game week for the Championship teams. We will see how it all pans out. Well, I'm sure there'll probably be a different leader at the top. Who knows? No, but no, because Leeds are probably going to beat Luton, aren't they? So perhaps they'll hold on to it. But it's fascinating stuff. Just the 2 points between the 4 teams at the top. Fascinating stuff at the bottom. All the teams down in that bottom 6, 7 area still looking over their shoulders. We will see what happens and see where it takes us towards the weekend. And I will be back later in the week to review the outcomes of the week and to preview the readiness matches for the weekend. So as always, please like and subscribe, leave any comments as you wish to, and I will see you all once again later this week. Please take care and bye for now.